Please give this gentleman a Dream Builder Live welcome from the year 1709. Help me bring to the stage the great Calico Jack.
If you, or maybe you, if you, or maybe you, if you, not you, if you, okay, you too, if all of you've got a passion for dream building, say R. Shiver me timbers, that was really nice. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Calico Jack. And I am quite possibly, I'm one of the world's most famous, and quite possibly the only former pirate you're ever gonna lay your eyes on. That's right, I said former. And you might be asking yourself, Jack, why the former? Why walk away from the life of all that adventure? Why leave the life of all that excitement? And let me tell you, I have had the life of a famous pirate. I have sacked over 40 British and French ships, getting away with tons of Spanish gold and Portuguese silver. I have survived over 82 maritime battles, probably burned down over half the Caribbean in my adventures. I've been stabbed 13 times, hung by the neck twice until nearly dead, walked the plank with my hands tied, lived a tale to tale. Lived a life of death, lived a life of destruction. And when you live that life, and you take a really good look at that life, you've got to say, it's not healthy, you know. I mean, you know, not really. You know, how do I explain it to you all here at Dream Builder Live? These guys, you know, in these circles, there's not a lot of personal growth going on. You know, these aren't the guys talking about unlocking your true potential. No one's speaking about, you know, the desire to be the free-flowing expression of all we were meant to be in the world. You know, except for me. You see, something inside me woke up. Something inside me, and I realized that I am a spiritual being in the pirate experience. Really. And I wanted more. Savvy? I wanted more. I wanted to go from death and destruction to dream building. I wanted to go from tyranny to transformation. I wanted to go from pillage and plunder to prosperity. Plus, we've got our Prosperity Plus bandits out there, don't we? Yarr, if you've taken Prosperity Plus, say yarr. Those are my peeps right there. They're led by my great aunts, Calico Colleen, sailing the open ocean in the SS Bounty. So I left that life of death and destruction behind. I set out on the open ocean in my own ship. Well, not really my ship, I stole. Well, stole is a strong word. I borrowed my own ship. I've never had my own ship. Arr. That's how pirates cry. Arr. So I sailed out into the ocean with the ship I called my own, out by myself. Only the problem was I did not have a destination. That's right. I was just running from my past, and the open ocean is a lot like life. If you're just running from your past without a clear place that you're sailing, you drift. You end up sailing in circles. Only the circles are so large, you don't even know you're in them. And there are storms in the open ocean. Huge storms, massive white squalls and gigantic typhoons, and that is my greatest fear. I would die in a large storm. I've had the same nightmare 1,000 times, that a monster 50-foot wave splits my ship in two and drags me to the bottom of the sea. So, I decided to get really good at sailing around the storm. That's right, trying to side skirt any bad weather in life. Only your ship's not built for that, and neither are you. And that's how you get sideways in high seas. I ended up capsizing 3 different ships and losing all of me fortune, trying to sail around the storm. So, I decided to find a place on the open ocean where there are no storms. And I found it. It's called the doldrums. Oh, some of you spent some time in the doldrums, have ya? Ha ha ha, I wouldn't be too proud of that. It's called the Dead Sea of Waiting. That's what we, in the maritime profession, call it. Because that's where you go to wait and wait and wait. Some of you might be in the Dead Sea of Waiting right now. Aye. What are you waiting for? Huh? Waiting for a yes or a no? Waiting for something to happen? Waiting for your luck to change? Well, that was me for a long time. And they call it the Dead Sea of Waiting because the sea is rotten. There's no life. There's no waves, there's no wind, there's no storms, but there's no life. And the sea, that Dead Sea, eats away at your ship as it does your life. And my ship started to sink. And after a long time in the Dead Sea of Waiting, in a sinking ship, in a stinking sea, a thought occurred to me, which wasn't very often, actually. Not the brightest guy. But a thought occurred to me nonetheless, like a still small voice in me head, a whisper that said, "You were meant for something better than this, Jack." And I said, "No." Don't think I was, actually. And the voice said, "There is greatness in you, Jack. There is greatness in you." And I said, "No, there's not. I've made a million decisions in my life and none of them have been great. And now I'm just living the consequences, tit for tat and all that." And the voice said, "Oh, Jack, there is greatness in you yet." And I got angry, really angry, because I knew the voice was right. And I said, if there's something in me, a spark of something that I could feel, what do I do about that? And the voice said, you make a decision, you're done waiting. You're going to do what you can with what you've got, and you're going to go for the dream, Jack. And I said, what dream? Talking about dream. And the voice said, you know, Jack, the dream. And I said, you mean pink sands? Which was code for my dream. And the voice said, yeah, Jack, pink sands. And right then, I heard a crack, and the mast of the ship, which had been rotten by the sea, fell, nearly crashing on my head, and my boat started to sink quicker. And right then, I made a decision. I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. I'm going to do what I can with what I've got. I'm going to go for the dream. And up to my knees in rotting water, all I had was a sinking ship and a bucket. So I started bailing as fast as I could, even though the other voices in my head were saying, you're never going to save your ship by bailing with a bucket, Jack. That's all I had. So I started bailing as fast as I could, and after 3 days of bailing, with my ship nearly going under, a beautiful three-masted schooner sailed right up next to my ship out of the blue, with a captain on board, a captain that I recognized, a master sailor, an expert navigator, a captain I had not had the pleasure of sailing with before. And the captain yelled out, "Jack, I'm here to transport you to your dream. Are you ready?" And I said, "Well, I've got some questions, actually. See, I've got kind of a past and some wreckage, and the captain said, "No, Jack. It's an overwhelming yes, or it's no. Are you ready to go for the dream?" And the captain swung me over a heavy rope. I caught the rope, closed my eyes, said, "Yes, I'm ready." And as I swung off my ship, right as she went under, I sailed out on the rope across the ocean with the tip of my boat skimming the water, and sailed up and landed on the deck of the captain's ship. And the captain said, "You steer, Jack. Take the wheel. I'll navigate, and we're going to get you to your dream." And as my hands wrapped around the massive wheel, the winds of change began to blow. And it filled the sails of this gigantic schooner. And we started moving out across the ocean, faster than I'd ever sailed before. The captain said, "North, Jack. That's our course, true north." And as I turned the ship to the north, I saw a storm right ahead. I said, "Are you sure? Our course is true north." And the captain said, "Remember this code, Jack. We stay the course. We face the storm. We do it afraid. We go for the dream." And the sky started to grow dark. And the sea started to get rough. And the wind started to blow. And just then, a large wave of my own fear rose up and crashed along the port side of the ship. It turned the whole ship to the east and corrected the ship back to the north. And as the wind started to howl, the skies now grew black, and the sea grew furious. And I repeated the code: we stay the course, we face the storm, we do it afraid, we go for the dream. And the rain came down and blistered my face as images of my past failures swirled all around me in the mist. I stayed the course, back and forth, tacking back and forth, and just then, another large wave of my own self-doubt rose up and crashed along the port side of the ship. This wave soaked us and turned the entire ship to the west, and now we were sideways in high seas, rocking back and forth, nearly capsizing. It took all my strength just to get back to the wheel and start to turn the ship when another wave crashed along the bow. The captain and I grabbed the wheel and turned the ship to the north and repeated the code: we stay the course, we face the storm, we do it afraid, we go for the dream. And then we saw it, a large 50-foot wave directly in front of us, but we were in perfect position, and we rose up and down the other side and out. Our ship nearly cut the wave in two, and the speed at which we propelled down the backside of the wave shot us out of the storm with tremendous speed. And as soon as that bad weather had came upon us, it was gone. We were sailing underneath the most beautiful yellow sky and across perfectly still turquoise water. And we kept sailing. And I saw something up ahead, bobbing in the ocean. As we got closer, I could see it was an old wooden large crate covered in barnacles and seaweed. And the captain helped me pull it up and onto the deck. As I brushed off the muck, I could see two words carved into the lid: Calico, Jack. I was scared to open it. And the captain said, "It's going to be all right, Jack." As I pried off the lid and opened it up, inside there was just one thing: an old piece of parchment paper rolled up with some twine. I untied it and opened it up, and on it were three words: time to forgive. I looked at the captain. I said, I can't do it. And the captain said, yes, you can, Jack. Your mind is like the ocean. Think of all those who have hurt you and all those you have hurt. And make your mind a beautiful, calm place for them to sail. Do it, Jack. Do it now. I closed my eyes. I thought about all the people I had hurt and all those who had hurt me. I made my mind a calm, beautiful place for them to sail forever. And I opened my eyes, and it was done. And I turned the paper over, and on it was a map. And we kept sailing and followed the map. And after a while, I saw a dot on the horizon. And as we got closer, I could see it was a small island. And then I saw palm trees and waterfalls and pink sand. It was my dream. My dream I'd been waiting for my whole life. We sailed up right into the bay and right up on the beach. I jumped off the bow and sank to my knees in the most beautiful coral powder you've ever seen. I grabbed 2 fistfuls and threw it into the air, and I saw the captain standing up on the bow, pointing to the next bay over. And I looked over, and there was a beautiful new ship with the words Pink Sands carved into the bow. And I looked up, and the captain looked down and just gave me a little wink. And the captain leaned forward and said, Jack, this dream has been here the whole time, laddie. Right on the other side of the storm. And you know what brought you here, Jack? Brave thinking brought you here. You stayed the course. You faced the storm. You did it afraid, Jack. And you went for the dream. And the captain sailed away. You see, I lived a life of death and destruction and mayhem, and it's not the life for me. And I lived a life in the Dead Sea of waiting. It's not the life for me. And I lived the life of a dream builder, and that's the life for me. Yo, ho, a dream builder life for me. Yo, ho, a dream builder life for me. Come on, yo, ho, a dream builder life for me. One more time. Yo, ho, a dream builder life for me. Listen, you hear that? That's another storm coming. And this one's got your name on it. That's right. And your dream's right behind it. So if you've got a passion for staying the course, say R. And if you've got a passion for facing the storm, say R. And if you've got a passion for doing it afraid, say R. And if you've got a passion for going for the dream, stand up and with all your pirate might, say R. I'm Calico Jack. It's been a pleasure sailing with you today. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.